Hello everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mr. Happy Mondays, the weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. We occasionally throw in a little bit of a news segment, and this week have a couple of things I wanted to discuss here at the beginning before we get into the questions. One, I mentioned Green Man Gaming last week, I believe. We have a 20% discount code and a store now, or a partnership with them that you can go through in the description of the video. You go there, there's a 20% discount code. Works for things like Heavensward, Witcher 3, all that cool stuff. The only thing that was kind of confusing is some people were having trouble getting the code to work. You actually need to make an account on Green Man Gaming and go to the settings and fill in all the information on the settings page. Then it will let you use the code. It's the PC edition of the game, non-Steam, and the collector's edition, the digital collector's edition for PC non-Steam is there as well. Also, we have new shirts available, new Mrhappy shirts. They are Pocket Happies, as we'd like to call them. I'll put it on the screen right now, or I'll put it at the end of the show, whichever one is more convenient. It's basically a shirt with me on the front, giving you a little thumbs up with my gunners in the sleeve of a pocket. It's actually a drawn-on sleeve, a very detailed drawn-on sleeve, and also the Twitch logo on the right sleeve. But anyway, now that those are out of the way, we got a lot of questions. I want to get to them, so let's get right to it. I'm going to try and keep my answers a little bit shorter this week, and I'm just going to burn through as many questions as I can go through. Let's go. Hey there, Mrhappy. Thank you for answering my question a couple weeks ago. I really appreciate it. I have two questions for you, and once again, I'll keep them straight to the point. One, I play PC. I play Final Fantasy XIV on both PC and PlayStation 4, but I've only purchased a PC copy of Heavensward. What happens if I log out in the Heavensward area while I'm on my PC and then log into PlayStation 4? It will not let you log in. So if you want to do that, make sure you buy Heavensward on both of them. I know it sucks, but licensing issues in this day and age, nothing you can really do about it. Second question, do you plan on streaming The Witcher 3? I have been streaming The Witcher 3, and on top of that, I'd like to announce that I'm going to be giving out 4 copies of The Witcher 3. A fan donated them to me for GOG.com, which is a non-DRM service. I'm going to be giving those out once a day, Tuesday through Friday is the current plan. So, if you come by my stream while I'm playing The Witcher 3, you might be able to enter to win it. But yes, I will be streaming it even more. It's a great game so far. Thank you for asking. Next question. Hello, Senor Felice. Repost from week 39. Just checking your opinion on a quick limit break question. What do you think the Bard limit break will focus towards come Heavensward? You think it'll be AoE like Black Mage since they are ranged, or you think it'll be single target since they deal physical damage? I'm leaning towards the AoE Black Mage limit break similarly. I keep wanting to call it a rain of arrows, but that kind of sounds weird. So maybe it'll just be one giant arrow. Maybe that's how they'll end up doing it. But I think they're going to get a limit break similar to the Black Mage limit break. Next one. Hey, Hap, repost from week 39 and 40. Apologies. Do you think we'll visit the continent of Mrhappy? Obviously not anytime soon. Maybe in the next expansion or even the one after that. I think it would be a cool location to visit. Given the names of the ads in turn 13, I think it would be a dead continent, maybe overrun by dragons and voidsent. Keep up the good work. I look forward to maybe tanking with you again in the future. Signed, Inuart. Hey, man. What's going on? So, yes, I do think we'll go to Mrhappy eventually, but I mean, I think the place is completely destroyed. Like, there's like no intelligent life there or anything like that. Would be mostly overrun, so I don't really know why we would go there unless somebody else has inhabited those lands and is using them, like the Ascians, for example, for some sort of evil plan. I would like to go to Mrhappy someday. For those of you who don't know, it's a continent south of Eorzea, and it was actually where Bahamut's hometown was, basically. That's where he's from. So I would like to go back there someday, but I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Not even in 2 expansions. Like, that'll be like way down the line. Next question. Hey, Mrhappy. Question for week 41. With Machinist being a support class like Bard, do you think they will be preferred over Bard? With Ballad being such a key skill for raids, I would find it hard to not want to bring the Bard to, as a support. For raid settings, less Machinist also comes with a skill that gives healers back MP. So the big thing is Ballad is mostly, I'm not going to say entirely, mostly a thing that you use on the healers. So I'm imagining that 1 or 2 of the new skills in this in the expansion is going to be sort of like a gold equivalent of MP, which will allow you to give focused MP back to the healers on a regular basis. I have a feeling that that alone, as long as you bring that class and that job for its utility, that would be enough to deter the need for Ballad. But you also have to consider Payon and foes, along with Wanderer's Minuet now for the increased damage that Bards are going to be getting. I think that Machinist and Bard will live in pretty much the same space because some of the turrets also give off AoE buffs. We just don't know which ones yet. So it'll be a matter of finding out what those are yet. That's one of those questions that's really hard to answer without just assuming a bunch of things about Machinist and even about the skills we don't know about yet on Bard. Next question. What's happening, Haps? Question for week 41, Mondays with Mr. Happy, aka Mr. Happy Mondays. Say the whole name. Do you think they will add lower level content to Heavensward? As a player who has stuck to one main class, Ninja, I'm slowly beginning to level my other DPS classes, but the wait times are killing my progress. Do you think they will start to have older jobs begin at 30? How do you think they will remedy doing instances with older content for those trying to level new classes? Instances can be 40 minutes to an hour as it stands right now. Top of everything, most of the players will have moved on to Heavensward. So I'm expecting bigger rewards for the low-level roulette. I'm not expecting straight up new low-level content. I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting just 50 to 60 content, and then you have the new jobs that start at 30, so 30 to 50 content is regularly populated. I'm expecting some changes to lower level content. I'm also expecting some changes to the leveling curve from 1 to 50 to speed it up to make sure that you can get through the story comfortably on multiple jobs and get into Heavensward. That being said, of course, if you don't have a main story mission to go by, I'm sure it will still drag on quite a little bit, but I don't see them introducing new lower level content, just easing the leveling curve from 1 to 50 overall. Alright, next question. Repost from week 40. Hey, Mr. Happy, I have 2 questions for you. Do you think they'll ever add more than 1 boss per turn? God, I hope so. I just want a raid that is beginning to end, and it saves your progress after each boss. Is that so much to ask for? We have it with World of Darkness. Why can't we just have it for Alexander? Come on, it feels more epic that way, with trash mobs that actually drop meaningful items. I want that. I want it. I don't know if they're going to do it. I think we're going to still be at 1 boss per turn. And also, do you think Alexander Savage will have more story than normal? No. Normal is the story mode. Savage is just increased difficulty. They've already cleared that out of the air. You don't need to worry about missing story in Alexander Savage if you decide not to play it. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy, love your videos. Thank you, man. This is my first time here. Awesome. Welcome. Rewriting my question for week 40, sorry that I missed it. Do you think that on a point of the... do you think that on a point of the story game, sure, not going to be until a long time, we will see Heidelin in a physical form? I think that when we finally begin to confront Zodiark and the Ascians, that yes, we will see her in a sort of physical form to combat Zodiark in his physical form. That is like 6 to 8 years down the line. Like, that is something that is like, we still can't even consider it as a possibility. So, eventually, I'm sure you are aware of the art poster with all the main characters, what looks like an angel behind the big crystal. Yes, of course. That's probably the idea of what Heidelin is, basically an angel looking over everyone. I think we'll eventually see her in her physical form, just not for a very long time. Next one. What's up again, Happy? Thanks for answering my previous question, but it does raise a follow-up question. How is Bahamut one of Midgardsormr's 7 children? So I've heard that that's actually not what he said. I've actually heard that Bahamut has a relation with Midgardsormr in terms of, like, they know each other, and that's pretty much the extension of it. Well, where the confusion came is the question was about Midgardsormr's children, and Bahamut's name came up. I don't actually think that's what it is, because there's a picture of Midgardsormr and the 7 children, and Bahamut's not on that. So I think that was just my mistake, just because of the way it was worded, odd translations and whatnot. So let's just wait until we get more information about Bahamut. I'm sure we're going to learn about it in the new Summoner quest line, but that's a topic for another video. Next question, going through them pretty quick, not even 10 minutes into the video yet. Hello, I'm new to the site, but I'm an avid follower of your YouTube and Twitch channels. I know your name, I see it. Anyway, I've been playing 14 for about a year now, my first MMO, and I was convinced to play it thanks in part to your videos. Glad they helped. I was curious to know what the game is like before players are actually able to enter new content released in an expansion. I read that there's massive exodus of players to one specific zone where the entrance to the expansion is, such as WoW or EverQuest. Is this what I should expect for Heavensward, or will the servers be filled to capacity before that is even a possibility? I expect they will be filled to capacity very, very quickly. I expect server crashes the day of the launch, and that is where everyone's going to go. Most people are going to log off and court this because we now know that even if you wanted to play the new jobs, you need to get into Ishgard. That is your -- goal because all 3 of the guilds are there. So it will probably, you have a data cap on your ISP. It might. If you have a data cap on your ISP, it might cap at some point. I mean, you're probably going to be playing so much, it's got to cap eventually. So yeah, I expect that to happen for Heavensward, to answer your question. All right, next one. Hey, Haps, question for spoilers with FCOB. You guys know how it works. This, and also people have been saying it still pops up on the screen. So I'm going to go silent when I do the thumbs up thing. So that's dumb. Just don't look. Just cover the bottom. It'll disappear when the question is over. All right? As you are aware, after the events of the Coil of Bahamut, Alisei seeks to seal off the remaining bulkheads to the people of Eorzea to seal the truth of what actually happened during the events of calamity within, and hopefully prevent the people from Eorzea from wishing would possibly eventually summon the Primal Phoenix, a manifestation of Louis Soir. It tries to accomplish this by convincing the leaders of Eorzea and states that the bulkheads don't hold no threat to people and that should be left alone. However, we know Garlemald have a vested interest in the bulkheads, and they have served to cast them over the thing and into the Ascians, always looking to salvation and looking to gods, the Lord Limes of Dalamud, and summoning the Void Sin, probably in a namesake. While I have no doubt story about it, do you think the storyline Bahamut has been conclusively wrapped up? Yes, only until Heavensward, where we'll probably find out a little bit more about it through the Summoner. That's really my entire answer. Anyway, next question. Hey Haps, as always, thank you for everything you do. I have a few questions that I hope can be answered quickly. They may look long, but they should be quick to answer. I mean, as a scholar, and was wondering what do you think when so many people are hell-bent on separating Scholar and Summoner? Because it's annoying. It's an unnecessary thing to have. I mean, other than the fact they share the same DPS skills, pretty much, and a few of the other utilities, there's no real benefit other than you only need to level it once. You know, there's the skill points, there's the fact that it makes it hard to add abilities to Scholar without also adding them to Summoner. You have to take into consideration a buff to Summoners, a buff to Scholar, or a buff to Scholar, as long as it's their base ability. Like, adding traits or modifying base abilities affects two jobs, makes it harder to balance. I'm personally not a fan of it. I wish they'd just have them separated, but it's hard to do that at this point with the way they're both built. Number 2, do you think Square Enix should learn from their Arcanist mistake and try branching jobs again? No, I don't want them to ever branch jobs again. I'd rather they just implement the ability for a job to branch off into different specs. I don't necessarily want skill trees, because I think skill trees are an archaic way of handling things in MMOs. It's always the best set of skills gets chosen by everyone, and then everything else gets ignored. That's been my experience with skill trees forever. So I don't want them to do that. I would rather they implement different weapon types for the same job that define different specs for that same job. I would prefer that. And 3, and finally, you indicated that Scholar was a great hybrid job because it branched from a DPS class. What other hybrid jobs do you think we could have if Square Enix maybe made an adjustment? Red Mage. Red Mage is like the go-to hybrid job that I'm expecting eventually to get in the game. Blue Mage could also very easily be a hybrid job. With the branching options especially, all these things are possible. Almost any job in the game can really be a hybrid. Warrior could have been a hybrid. Warrior basically is a tank DPS hybrid. With the kind of homogenization of the jobs with some of these new abilities being added in, pretty much everything is capable of doing two things. As long as it's, well, I guess the tanks are capable of doing good DPS and tanking, and the healers are capable of DPSing and being good tanks, and then everybody else is kind of just stuck in between. Their DPS, that's what they do, and they each have their own utility. So I think it wouldn't be too hard for them to add more hybrids. I just think the game has to be designed around it. Next question. Hey Happy, we're just wondering about a lore-related subject that may contain spoilers. You guys know the drill, just explained it before. When 2.0 began, Bahamut was a primal, right? A god of sorts summoned into the world, but now we know he's a son of Migr. So again, I'm going to take that back. That's such weird wording. I gotta find the interview and find the exact wording, because I know it's right when they ask about the 7 children that Bahamut's name gets brought up, but the poster debunks that, so it's kind of strange. So yeah, no, he's not a god. He was one of the first brood of the Mrhappians, and the Mrhappians through faith summoned him to combat the Allagans, and the Allagans captured him and trapped him within Dalamud. He broke free, and then when he was destroyed, Dalamud found a piece of him and then started resurrecting him from that section. It's a pretty strange story, but yeah. And then, so the question is, do we actually know what primals are? No, that's actually something we're going to be questioning going into the expansion. We still don't definitively know what a primal is. At this point, it's basically a deity from past existence that a bunch of people believe in and have summoned with, large amounts of ether. That's pretty much the only stipulation at this point. Next question. Hey there, Mr. Happy. This is my first time posting a question, but I've always watched your 14-related videos. Keep up the nice work. Thank you, man. Okay, it's not really a question, but I would like to hear your thoughts about this. It really bothers me that there's no depth in us as a main character. I'm the warrior of light, but I'm forced to act as a puppet for most of the time. It makes the character look like a dumb brute, being ordered to do stuff around by other annoying characters. I would like to make my own decisions and choose not to be a paragon of justice to follow my own path. Although I know that, Final Fantasy XIV being an MMO, may be kind of hard to make a character with such depth. That is my phone vibrating. Don't you think it would be great addition if somewhat we can make our own choices story related? I mean, for example, decide not to help worthless Manphili in the Science to beat a certain primal, but be able to fight him under another circumstances, guided, but previous choices were made. I mean, it never hurts to have choices, but ultimately you'd have to go down the same paths because you'd have to be allied with everyone else in the realm. It'd be nice if there were some choices that you could make that could eventually impact the way certain NPCs talk to you. But at the same time, that sort of takes away from the story making aspect of it. They have a very easy to follow, easy to understand story, and I say that despite all the things that happen in 2.55, that it follows suit very well. I know it's hard, but that's kind of how single player RPGs were for a long time. You know, in recent years, things like Persona and things like, you know, Mass Effect and whatnot, games have started giving main characters more choices, but it's hard to make all those choices live up, and you also have to make sure there is never a repercussion that creates an imbalance amongst the players. So ultimately, it becomes a vanity decision that I just think that there are things they are more concerned about. You know what I'm saying? I think they just would rather create one coherent story and allow you to experience it so everybody gets the same experience. There's pros and cons to both of them. I'm pro for choices, but I'm also I'm kind of on the fence about both. I think both have their pros and cons, and I would be fine with either or. Next question. Hey there, Mr. Happy. First time. All my first time questions, according to this, are now worth a soldiery bonus, by the way. Regarding the Relic quest, the devs have said that they will be nerfing the Relic quest in order to allow anyone to get it once Heavensward comes around. I think they'll be nerfing the various steps of the quest. Drop rates on Atmas, drop rates on Alexandrites, how many materia you need for the Novus step, the cost of books, the amount of enemies you need to kill for books, maybe even reduce the amount of actual content you need to do for each book. Again, double the amount of light, most likely for the Nexus step. Probably increase the drop rates on everything for the Zodiac quest line. Reduce the prices from the NPCs, and then they don't need to do anything for the Zeta step. I think all those things are all they really need to do, and that's probably what they'll do. They'll probably just completely annihilate the quest line, so that way you can get it for vanity, glamour, whatever it is that pleases you. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy. First time asking a question. Soldiery bonus. For Heavensward, they said we will get a new job, but they didn't say anything about new base classes. Maybe Dark Knight, base class Gladiator. Okay. They did say there are no base classes. They said this quite some time ago, that there are no base classes for any of these jobs. They are just jobs. I know it's strange, and we still haven't really seen how that works. I guess we just equip the job crystal, and GG, we're good to go, along with a weapon of sorts. Probably just equip the weapon. There's probably not even a job crystal for it, to be honest. But we don't know that yet. We just know there's no base classes, man. Next question. Repost from week 40. If we do happen to liberate Alamigo in 4.0 or in another future expansion, do you think we'll see more of the Wittergelt from the monk quest? Dude, I want to see that guy. Is that the old guy, or is that the other guy? Considering he's part of the Alamigan resistance, I feel he should be important part. I don't remember which character he is. Is that the actual monk, the old dude who's pretty cool, has 100 fists? Or is that the dude we fought at the end of it at the level 30? Oh wait, this is the monk job quest. I don't even remember what happens in the monk job quest. I'm talking about the pugilist job quest right now. Sure. if they're alive, sure, why not? If they have to do with the Alamigan resistance, I say go for it. Next question. Hey, Happy, bit of a personal question if you don't mind answering. You have mentioned student loans before. What did you major in? I myself have been playing Final Fantasy XIV to keep me sane through engineering school. Oh, God. And it's actually helped me keep going. Love your stuff. Keep it up. I went for information technologies with a specialization in game design. I did not finish college. I left, I think, with 34 credits to go, which was a year and some odd change, depending on how I decide to go about it. I left because ultimately it felt I lost my passion in, I guess, designing the games. I'd taken a bunch of courses in it, and it didn't feel like, I guess the other people who were doing it just weren't passionate enough, and it kind of reached off onto me because I didn't have all the skills necessary to design a game solo from the bottom up, and it made those classes very, very difficult to get through. It made them less fun. It just, I really ultimately came down to, I wasn't having fun making games, which was weird. Like, I thought it was funny because of how bad they were, because we were trying to work in C#, and we're trying to work in C#, and I was designing the character sprites pixel by pixel. But ultimately, I majored in game design. Didn't work out. I took some credits in nutrition for about a year. That was really interesting for the time, but then I started with YouTube and Twitch, and I wanted to pursue my dream. My dream was always that childhood dream. Play video games for a living, and it's so stupid, it's childish, it's something that if you had told me 10 years ago would be a possibility, I would have said like, what? Even though it was my dream. And I'm kind of living that dream right now. Between Twitch has been going great, YouTube has been going better as well, everything's been looking up. So I'm sticking to my decision from a couple of years back, and I don't think I'm gonna regret it in the long run. Meeting a lot of good people and paying off those student loans, most importantly. If I ever go back to school, I only had a little bit more than a year to go. I think I could finish it. Before we move on to the next question, I'd like to say, finish your degrees. By the way, don't drop out and try to become a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer. That literally was only because I lost interest in IT, I was losing interest in nutrition, and something that I love doing for the rest of my life popped up. So, it was more of an opportunity thing. I didn't say, well, I'm going to do well, because I was working in New York City in IT while I was in school for nutrition. So, it was an opportunity. It wasn't something I just dropped and said, that's it, I'm dropping everything and I'm going to be YouTube, Twitch. Don't do that. If you're in school, finish your degree. Don't drop out to play video games. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Just make sure you're connecting with other people. Don't just do the nose in the books thing. Make connections. It pays off more than the actual school does, trust me. Anyway, next question. I just wanted to clear that up. Hey, Happy, real talk with the Heavensward speculation. Did you notice that Dragoon, Monk, and Ninja got more burst options from ability reveal in the live letter 21? You think that was the focus on burst? There will be fights in Heavensward that really highlight this need for burst damage. If you can think of an example, please say so. Miscellaneous bonus round question. Do you think the Pentathrust could be the 4th combo action for the Dragoon, and could it restore TP? So probably no to the Pentathrust thing. Considering we only know the follow-up to Chaos Thrust, we don't know if the follow-up to Full Thrust is any different. It's actually possible because it's a thrust action. I don't think it's going to restore any more TP. I don't think they're going to get any more options to restore TP. Granted, Monk did get another option to restore TP, so that'd be kind of ignorant for me to say I don't think they're going to get it. I do think there's going to be a focus. They wanted every job to have consistent DPS and burst DPS tools, and if they gave it to one job, they need to kind of make sure all the jobs had it. The jobs got very similar additions to their jobs, but the way you actually pull them off are all different. That's really the only difference. I'm looking forward to seeing these burst mechanics and how they end up working out, because it's going to decide, who's a good DPS, who's a bad DPS. And knowing when to use those burst tools is going to be massive. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy, question. I main Monk, which I love, but I'm curious about the additional abilities coming forward, at least 5 or more, it sounds like. Monk has a fairly specific rotation, alternating between the flank combo and the rear combo. There's wiggle room for sure, but this is the simplest way to put it. With these new abilities, do you think they'll fundamentally change the way Monk plays, also considering a change in skill speed, by simply overriding, making obsolete some of the older moves in favor of the newer ones? I do not think that. The way they've described these new abilities for Monk, so they've got an ability that lets them change stances in case they need to for any specific reason. They've sort of put an emphasis on that, going from one stance to another stance. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, if it lets you just skip a stance, if it lets you pick a stance. I don't know, but they've sort of detailed that. I'll have to go back and read it, actually, because they may have worded it in such a way that that's how I understood it, but that's not actually what it meant. I'll have to go back and read that. However, the bigger thing they're focused on is eliminating that point of weakness for Monk. They did that with pretty much all the jobs. They eliminated pretty much every job's major point of weakness, which is why I used the word homogenization before. The jobs all have pretty consistent levels of when they're able to perform, as long as they perform correctly. There are mechanics to getting this additional DPS. Monk seems to have gained the utility in a sense that you can expend your Grease Lightning 3 stacks and then immediately replenish them with the use of all your meditation stacks, or your chakra stacks as it's called in the North American localization. So they're really just trying to make sure that when an enemy is jumping away from you, your first thought when that enemy comes back is not, I have to start from 0 Grease Lightning stacks, I just dropped my phone. It's now, right before the enemy jumps, I know they're going to jump at 90%. So I'm going to hit them. There's fireworks outside. What the hell? I'm going to hit them with this ability. I'm going to expend all my Grease Lightning stacks. And then when they come back down, I'm going to use all my meditation stacks or chakra stacks, and I'm going to get them all back. I'm still going to have to reapply Dragon Kick and Twin Snakes, but it eliminates a point of weakness for the Monk. And mastering that on a per fight basis is going to be the new fundamental thing you'll need to learn as a Monk. Next question, repost from week 40. Hi, Mr. Happy. I have a few questions to ask. They're very short questions that you should only need 5 to 10 seconds to answer. Which party buff do you think Astrologian will give? Piety or Mind? Mind. Do you think that they'll have a Relic weapon in 3.0? Kind of like the original Relics of 2.0? No, I think that they're going to wait entirely till 3.1 before they add the new Relic questline. They said that the growing a weapon questline will be in 3.1. I think even just that brand new Relic is going to wait till 3.1, and it itself is going to be part of the weapon growth process. Do you think they'll... Oh, I already answered that. What new job are you most excited to play in 3.0? Dark Knight. Just because it looks badass. Badass. Is that a good enough reason? I think it is. P.S. Thanks for all the videos you make. I watch every Mondays. I'm glad you enjoy them. And you're right. All those questions were very quick to answer. Sorry I didn't get to them last week. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy. How are you doing? Recently, I started fishing in 14 with some FC mates for the fun of it. And I'm quickly noticing my inventory filling up from just all the bait I have. My question is, do you think it's possible Square Enix to make a separate inventory tab or something for baits, tackle, and lures? They have actually said they are working on that. I don't know when that's going to happen, but eventually they would like to include it. Wouldn't expect that anytime soon, thinking about it. But they are working on it. Shouldn't use the thumbs up for anything anymore. I have to save that strictly for lore. Next question. Hey, Haps, question for week 41. What is the genre of game that a lot of people really like that you don't? I like FPSs. I like action-adventure games. I don't think there's a genre I don't like. Like, I like certain games in every genre. I don't think there's a whole genre. I mean, the FPS, like, I guess community kind of dissuades me because it's generally uninviting. And because I'm not like a super skilled FPSer, it's like, it's annoying. I just hate those 12-year-old kids on Xbox Live. Let's just be honest right now. But yeah, I don't really have one, man. I don't have one. Next question. Greetings from Panama. Interesting. Central America. I knew that. Didn't think I was smart enough to know that, did you? Ha ha ha. Got a question for week 41. This is the first time I post a question. Soldiery bonus. The story is a long one, but maybe an answer is short. I linked my Square Enix account to my PSN account a long time ago, but I have some troubles with it, and I need to get it to unlink. I contacted Square Enix. They told me they could do it, but my Square Enix account would be banned by PlayStation from being used on another device. Then I contacted PlayStation support and they told me they could never do that. They don't have access to Square Enix information account. Do you know someone that I don't know anybody who's had this situation where they've called Square Enix and asked Square Enix, hey, can you unlink me from my PSN account? I can't say that for certain actually. I do know somebody who's had this problem before, but only because they were hacking their PlayStation and they didn't want to get banned from 14, or their PlayStation account got banned because they were doing something underhanded with the PlayStation Network, which was usually not hacking it. Yeah, I guess hacking your PlayStation 4 or modding your PlayStation 4 got them banned and they needed to unlink it and they can't do it. You're stuck. You're not going to be able to get it unlinked because of if that is your case, then you're not going to be able to get it unlinked. You're going to have to buy a new account, get a new PlayStation 4 or something, or buy it on the PC or something like that, man. Hey, Mr. Happy, if you only had a chance at playing one of the beast tribes in game, which one would you choose and why? Dude, I want to be the Amalja. Those dudes are just like, Argh! Okay. Do you think there's any chance we can convince Yoshi P that we want less human race choices outside of putting body paint and a dollar store warrants on our characters? That's the greatest way I've ever heard Al Ra described. Al Ra. I think eventually, yeah. They're ultimately going to need to be humanoid in some way, just less people-ish. they just don't look like people with like minor aesthetic details. I don't think that's going to happen for a long time. You won't even see another race until like 5.0 anyway. So I wouldn't count on it, but maybe. Spoiler question. You guys know how this works. Do you feel Momodi sets you up for what happened, Sultana? I was just recording the video for that last week. I posted my overview. I was thinking the same thing. What if she knew and she did it? I don't think so. I think she's innocent, and I think that she was just like, oh, I got this message that you need to go here. Whereas that's all she does. She doesn't question it. She's like, that looks suspicious. She doesn't care. She just tells you what to do. She gets the message, she tells you. But I was thinking that too for a second, man. No, I think she's innocent. Next question. Question for week 41, Mondays with Mr. Happy. How does your static handle loot once primary and secondary jobs have what they need? Greed off? Or does priority list go even deeper? Sometimes it goes into 3. I've had a few different ways of it being done, but most of the time it's just like, does anyone have it at 50? Take it, just so it doesn't hit the ground. That's pretty much the extent of it, to be honest. Second question, what sword do you think they are showing for the Dark Knight? Is that the Relic we won't get until 3.1? Probably. It could very well be a piece of mid-tier content. It could be a sword from mid-tier content for all we know. It's probably the Deathbringer, if I had to guess anything at all. I would hope. It looks pretty cool. I'm down if that's going to be the sword. Wait, are you talking about the sword that they show in, like, the job teaser, the initial job teaser where they just showed Dark Knight Astrologian Machinist, or the one they were showing recently? Because I think that one that they keep showing in the trailers, the super big one, I think that's Deathbringer. And 3, isn't it going to seem really weird when you have new primal weapons are going to be better than our Zetas? It just doesn't sit well with me. I know you have to move on to new things, but a primal weapon, come on. Hey man, these primals are pretty strong. They're like level 60-ish, you know? So, I mean, our Zetas are 50. It makes sense to me. I mean, these primals are stronger, supposedly, and our Zetas are not. I don't question it. It's like, it's higher level, that's it, man. That's all you need to tell me. Next question. Hey, Happy. Love the vids. SOTR is one of my favorite feeds to watch, even if I can't manage to watch them live due to the time you're streaming them. First time question or 2 coming up for week 41. Sultry bonus. I am not sure that this has been asked already, but could you comment a little on how you got started in streaming or some other major challenges you had to deal with? I've considered doing a little streaming myself, but my current job doesn't really give me the flexibility of time to do it at a point where it seemed like it'd be worthwhile. I'm sure it's not entirely feasible to leave it to do streaming full-time and still pay my bills. I know people like PewDiePie that have the revenue can be more than enough to live off of, but I don't think that's the norm for streamers. It's really possible for this to be something you can make a living off of, or is it something you need to do alongside a normal job? I would recommend, if you're starting streaming, first of all, don't go in thinking, oh, I'm going to make money streaming. No, you go in because you want to live stream and you want to build a community. As soon as if your first worry upon starting my stream is, oh, I don't have like 50 viewers. I don't have 5 viewers. I don't even have a single viewer. If that's your only concern when you go live, then it's already not for you. You need to be willing to do that struggle where you have 1 viewer, 2 viewers, 3 viewers, and then you do it every day and you build it up. You should do it alongside a normal job. Normal jobs give you stability. It lets you do the streaming as a hobby, which generally means you enjoy it more because you're not relying on it as a source of income as a hobbyist or something. And it also allows you to do more things like more giveaways. If you need new equipment, you can put the money aside from your normal job. It's generally a safer way of doing things. Not the way I did things. I had enough income coming in from YouTube and Twitch together to say, hey, yeah, this is a career. This is something that's really possible to do. Is it the most money in the world? No. But guess what? For paying off my student loans, for putting money away for my future, all those things are possible. But this is such a long topic. I actually have a thread on the Dream Network forums talking about my struggles when I first got started. You should check it out. It's actually in the Mrhappy thread. So you're actually in the Mrhappy threads right now on Dream Network. Just go back a thread and look at the how I got started streaming and YouTubing. That should be the one with most of your answers. But it's a struggle. I wouldn't just get into it because, oh, I don't like my job. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get into it because you want to share your experience, your gaming experience with other people. You have a creative itch or something along those lines. And you're going to have to be willing to speak to one person, sometimes speak to yourself even in order to get started. It's just, there's a lot of struggles involved with it. I'll probably make a video on its own at some point. Next question. Hey, Mrhappy, how are things going? They're going great. Before my question this week, I would like to apologize about the question about the Gaius card. Let me just read your question. Don't worry, man. I'm not actually salty. My question for this week is about Binding Coil. I've always wanted to finish it, but never been able to get past turn 5 due to all the party finder groups rage quitting. Is it even possible to do them now before Heavensward? I just got mine done on turn 5. It's totally possible to get them done. Just gotta find like-minded individuals and not rely on completely random people. Like I was saying with the whole college thing before, networking is a huge thing. You gotta be willing to meet people and make friends with people that are capable of doing it, that you can learn from, that you can share experiences with. Can't just always rely on random people. I know it's hard, but you gotta do it. And yes, you can beat all the extreme primals too. I've been duty findering those as well. Next question. Hi, Mrhappy. My question for next week is, how do you think people that play with controllers are going to be able to manage all the new abilities being added in the expansion? I don't think it's going to be that hard. Honestly, after playing with the controller, I am more akin to believing that controller players are going to have an easier time with it. It's depending on your job, of course, but when I look at my PlayStation 4 hotbar, I go, damn, everything is so close together. It's really, really nice. Meanwhile, I'm busy on my computer like, let me see, I can remap Q and E and R and T and F and Shift 1 and Control 1, and I got my mouse keys and I got my F keys, and I'm just like, or L2, R2, X. It's like, I think they won't have that big of an issue. It'll definitely take some getting used to, and it would be nice to have some new features to allow them to access it a little bit more easily. I don't think it's going to be that bad, though. Alright guys, we're coming up towards the end of the video. I tried to get through as many as possible, but I'm just going to be answering 3 more. So apologies if I do not get to your question. So let's just grab 3 more and let's wrap this video up. Hello, Mrhappy. Question for week 41. More of a question of curiosity. How do you handle color-specific mechanics, in particular when doing roulettes with random people? My fiance and I have pondered this since there's color-specific mechanic in Wondrous Palace hard mode. So I actually do have a good answer for you. All of the different colors also generally have a different visual that designates what it does. In the case of the totems in Wondrous Palace hard mode, they all have a different design depending on which color they're supposed to represent. Some of them point straight up, some of them point straight down, some of them go outward, some of them are curved. I recognize them by that. Same with the golems in turn 9. One of them's got big shoulders, one of them has no shoulders. And that mechanic wasn't always there. Eventually, I just learned to follow people that were assigned to a specific thing. be like, they're on the target they're supposed to be. That is how I will identify the target. That's all I needed to do. Next question. Hey, Happy. First time posting. I was wondering, would you prefer a keyboard and mouse or controller? Now, okay, despite what I just said about the whole controller thing, I love the convenience of like the whole L1, R1X or L2, R2X, and that being like an access to a second, the second hotbar. I prefer keyboard and mouse. I feel so much more capable and so much more comfortable on the keyboard and mouse. But having said that, the controller isn't bad. It's just not my preference. All right, and I'm going to grab this one last question here. Sorry for anyone's question I missed. I really tried to speed through them as much as possible today, so hopefully you guys appreciate it. I answered so many questions, like over 30 questions, which I never do, especially in a 38-minute video, or however long this recording is actually going to be after I cut certain things out. Anyway, hey, Happy, first time asking a question here. I know you, man. You came by the stream today. We played some Smite together. Hey, I main Nin, and I was wondering, with the new levels coming out and the extension of Hutan via a new ability, how do you think it'll work? I'm guessing that it will probably have a cooldown, but how long and how much do you think it may refresh Hutan? Since we know it probably won't be a full 70 seconds. I'm actually expecting it to be a full 70 seconds. I'm expecting that it'll be the end of a combo, similar to the way that you keep track of... Oh, so wait. It's either one of two things. It's either the end combo ability that they showed, where they were like jumping around and everything, and that is what extends Hutan, and I do expect it to be a full extension, or at least something that you're going to have to consider when Hutan is about to wear off, and then it will extend it for another 30 seconds, and then you can do a few other combos, extend it for 30 seconds, and then you never need to re-up it as long as you can continue that combo. You may need to re-up it when enemies go invincible, or you can't target anything. But I'm expecting it'll work like that. It won't be a cooldown. It'll be just the end of a combo. Either that, or it's that ability they showed where they were surrounded by the ninja signs, but they didn't do anything. It just looked like some sort of self buff. That may have been them regenerating the effect of Hutan. Can't tell for sure, but they Hutan'd right at the beginning of that, and I don't think it was just to go faster. I think it was specifically to show off one of the abilities that extends its duration. And the final question, also non-14 question, what is the next big PS4 game you cannot wait to get? Considering I got Witcher 3 for the PC, it's probably going to be Bloodborne's DLC. That's a pretty long ways away, but honestly, I'm not too excited for much else. It's pretty much a Bloodborne and Destiny machine at this point. Oh, Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3. What am I talking about? Those are never going to come out. Just kidding. They'll come out like next year. Please, Square Enix, tell us about Kingdom Hearts 3 at E3, please. But anyway, thank you everyone for asking your questions this week. Hopefully I was able to get through enough of them, satisfactory amount for you guys. Be sure to ask your questions for next week. In the comment or in the description of the video, you'll find a link to the thread where you can ask the questions. You know where I'm going with this. You know where I'm going with this. The hand motions are an Italian thing. Also, be sure to check out the shirts there in the description of the video. Check out Green Man Gaming and that 20% code. Both of those are in the description of the video as well. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the channel and coming out for another fun episode of Mondays with Mr. Happy's. I'll see you guys next week. Why was I so confused by it? Yes, of course I'll see you next week. Next week has a Monday in it, doesn't it? It does. Anyway, enough talking to myself. I'll see you guys later. Until then, take care.